Welcome everyone to the exciting battle at the Under-11 National Championships. On the right of your screen is the little Mani Sarbartho. Sarbartho played amazing at the World Rapid and Blitz Team Championships held earlier in the year in London, and his opponent Venkata Naga Karthik, also a very strong player. The arbiter asks the players to be ready, and we are off. Sarbartho thinking about his move. It takes a bit of time whether he should go 1e4, 1d4 and pushes his pawn to e4. A big talent, of course, but at the Under-11 Nationals this year we have some of the best talents of Indian chess playing. We have Advik Agrawal, and by the way, Black adjusts all his pieces, who's 2250 rated. We have Avirat Chauhan, who's 2100. We have Arit Kapil. We have Rahul Ramakrishnan, Mani Sarbartho. We have Oishik Mandal. It's a great field. Let's see how this game shapes up. Just some bit of confidence there for the youngster. C6, the Karo Khan played by him, and d4 by Mani. Sarbartho adjusts his pawn d4, and what is Venkata Karthik going to do here? He goes d5. He plays the Karo Khan. And now I think he wants to play knight to c3 there, and then pauses and plays e5. Interesting strategy there. Bishop comes out to f5, and Sarbartho goes bishop d3, offering a trade of bishops. Now here generally white likes to add h4, h5 and then bishop d3. You get the g5 square, the g6 square becomes a bit soft, but bishop d3 is also played, and after takes, queen will take back on d3. You will see that this position is very interesting from the perspective that white has more space, but in terms of the quality of the pieces, black is doing very well. This dark squared bishop is a better bishop. Sarbartho goes knight e2, gets his knight into the game. Now knight to d7 by Karthik. Maybe later he would like to break with c5. For now, white simply castles. Small edge for white here, I would say. And Karthik goes pawn to c5. Now generally when you are lagging behind in development, it's not a good idea, and Sarbartho goes c3. Also possible here is c4 to open up the position completely, but c3 is not at all bad. Knight e7. Karthik wants to get his knight to c6, and Sarbartho goes knight d2. I believe he wants to play his knight to f3 and slowly build up on the king side. Knight to c6, putting pressure on the d4 pawn. And now, yes, knight to f3. White is hoping that in the future this king side space or the central space will translate into a king side attack. Bishop e7. Venkata Naga Karthik just wants to castle here. And Sarbartho plays bishop to d2. Maybe the bishop isn't doing much there, but with this he has connected the rooks. Black has castled here. So now white would like to launch an attack, and you can see there Sarbartho's plans. He wants to go king g2, h4, h5 and start pushing on the king side. Queen c7 played by black. Karthik is playing this quite interestingly, and rook c1, suddenly change in plans. Perhaps he doesn't want black to take on d4 perhaps. But for now, c4. Oof, this is a very, very committal move. And look at Sarbartho's reaction there. He's like, I don't like this move at all. Because this is giving up the tension in the center. With c4. And, well, it's quite difficult, yeah, when you are playing this way. By the queen c2. I guess queen e3 was also possible. Putting the queen closer to the king side. b5. Black is like, my plan is simple. I'm going to play on the queen side. Yes, I did dissolve the tension on the in the center, but that's okay. I'm fine. h4, and now it's clash of ideologies here. Black wants to play on the queen side. Ooh, rook f b8. Very interesting. Black is like investing everything on the queen side play. Let's see how Sarbartho continues. Maybe h5 is a possibility here. He goes knight to g5, threatening a mate here with queen takes h7. And knight f8, very calmly played here. Although bishop takes knight was also possible, but knight f8. And now Sarbartho can go f4. Instead, he plays knight to f4. I'm wondering what's his plan here. Does he want to go knight h5, b4? Brilliant play by Karthik. Queen d1. He wants to reroute the queen to h5 or g4, but it seems like the attack is a bit too slow. He takes on c3. And now a question, do you take with the bishop or the pawn? Because if you take with the bishop becomes bad. If you take with the pawn, the b file opens up. He takes with the bishop, the lesser evil perhaps here. And knight to b4. Black is creating counterplay here, attacking a2. Rook has to go to a1. I think Sarbartho didn't want a3, knight a2 to attack these two pieces. So he goes rook a1, a5 by Karthik. And Karthik is showing some great bit of skills here. Knight f3, maybe coming back wasn't the best. Queen g4 would have been much better. But a4, he's pushing through. He wants to go a3 as well. And so white has to play a3. And now you can come back on c6. He comes back. The b3 square is slightly weakened here. So the knight could reroute itself. Sarbartho pushes h5 with the idea of h6 perhaps. He stops h6 here. For just a rating of 1766, Karthik is showing insane skills here. Queen e2 played. And now knight to h7. I'm wondering what's the plan here, but maybe he just wants to activate his knight to g5. I like how Karthik isn't fixated that, hey, I must play only on one side of the board. He's playing on both sides. Ooh, by the way, knight touch, and he played to g2, but he didn't let it go. He's not letting it go. He puts it back. And Karthik is like, wait, what's happening here? Why are you playing? Maybe there's also knight h3. He goes knight g2 finally. And now queen a7. Interesting move. Putting pressure on the d pawn. Rook d1. Sarbartho defends it again. White is hoping that at some point he would get the attack rolling. Oof, bishop d8. Wow, what a move. Wants to get bishop b6. But rook c1. and instead of bishop b6 goes even better, bishop a5 to trade this cemento bishop here, as Peter Lecco would call it. It's such a strong bishop. And Karthik jumps in, rook b3. What happened to white's kingside attack? That's not breaking through. Black's queenside play is just immense. g4, but Sarbartho is like, I have to try something, otherwise I'll simply get run over. But rook b8. He's threatening to take, and then b2 is weak, a3 is weak, goes queen f4. Sarbartho basically just giving up all the ambitions of defense on the queen side and trying to checkmate black on the other side, but no moves there. Bishop takes a5 taken, knight takes a5. Black has outplayed white completely, knight e3, and now white must play for tricks. But where are the tricks? Rook takes b2, first pawn bites the dust. King g2, king comes up, and now knight jumps into g5. If you take here, queen takes g5. And he takes it. Queen takes g5. You can't trade queens. That would be a lost position. So queen g3. Well, f4 isn't coming through. There's pin here. He jumps in, knight to b3. Now attacking d4 and the rook. If rook d1, there is knight d2 entering into e4. Wow. Impeccable play here by Karthik. I would say he's played like a very, very strong player here. I wouldn't even call it like an IM or a GM. Yeah, he's just played one strong move after another. Rook d2, king goes back to g1, and now he jumps in with the rook to b3, pinning here. Well, that's the strength of under-11 nationals in India. You have some amazingly strong players. I would say Sarbartho is one of the most talented youngsters out there in Indian chess. Rook d4, but the way in which he was outplayed in this game was amazing, and totally winning. Sarbartho resigns with a very nice strong handshake there, great sportsmanship, and puts the king on d4. Venkata Naga Karthik Malladi. Well, that's a name we'll have to keep in mind. This boy played some brilliant chess. I especially loved how he managed to maneuver his bishop to better square, to trade the dark squared bishops, and with this he's on 4 out of 4 at the national under-11 championships. In the 5th round he, I think, did lose his game. So yeah, it's a tough one, but we will be bringing you more games, more coverage from the under-11 nationals from Jalgaon. We do remember back in the day in 2017, it was Gukesh who had won the under-11 nationals in Pune, and then that was the start. I mean, that was already, back then he was strong, and he kept rising up the ranks to become eventually the world champion. And who knows, a future world champion might be sitting here in the playing venue. I hope you enjoyed the game, and for now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.